It makes a big difference if you can just take a few minutes before you're actually in front of the customer and get those key things, put them right on the top of your briefcase. Now, I've seen an awful lot of sales guys out there who make calls with a bag like Tamara has back there. Tamara, I don't know if you could just hold up that bag there. Oh, it's not actually a bag, but okay. I've seen an awful lot of sales guys that make calls with something that looks like that. Now, when I was a sales manager for our company, I made calls with this. Now, this is certainly not, I don't think Michael Douglas in that movie, whatever that movie was, would have walked around with something like this, but I did, okay? And sometimes I would give it to customers, and I would say to them, now it's empty right now, but when I carried it around, I can tell you it was like this, very heavy. And every now and then I would ask a customer if he could just hold it for me for a second, okay? And it gave him an idea, particularly if we were walking a long way, of how concerned I was about his business and how concerned I was about helping him. And so I brought everything I needed in that briefcase so that I could help the customer, as opposed to I was looking really cool. You know, I never wore the suit out making calls. I just wore the suit for you guys, you know. But when you're going out in front of customers, I think it's really important to have all the things that you need so that you're really prepared and the customer knows you're really prepared. And bringing a great big thick briefcase full of stuff is really good. And you can have show and tell stuff too, because if the guy's a right brain guy, he's going to want to put his hands on it and feel it. And if he's a left brain guy, he's going to want to measure it, or he's going to want to analyze it, or something like that. So it's always a good idea to have a lot of things in your briefcase to give the guy. Now, is it a problem? Yes, it's a problem to carry all that stuff around. And a lot of guys used to see me, even when I was a sales manager, I had a little cart that I used to carry, and I had it in my car, so that if I had a call way back in building 14 or something like that, and it was a long walk from the lobby, I would ask the customer, say, do you mind if I bring my cart? Is that okay? And I never heard a customer say no. They always said, oh, let me help you with it. That was really nice, and it kind of made me feel good that the customer knew I had a heavy load and I was bringing it in to try to help them. So I think that's important to do that. If you're going up and down stairs, it's a little tough with a cart. But I can tell you, I made calls in Pratt Whitney when I went up on the third floor of buildings and stuff like that, and a customer carried the bag, and I carried the cart and some other things I had, and we were doing it as a team to make the call. And it was a really an empathy developing experience. Okay, so there's some notes there on page 8 on that. Now let's get into page 9, which has to do with developing empathy, and this is one of the things that was mentioned several times. Before you go into call on a customer, I like to think of the word stop, S-T-O-P, which has to do with stay tuned on people. And that's what we're trying to do, stay tuned on people. So before I go in the door, I used to have a terrible time remembering names. When I go and I meet the customer would tell me what his name was, and I'd forget his name. So I had to figure out a way to help me to remember customers' names. So I would think it is stop, and I had in my mind a very clear octagonal stop sign, and before I walk in the door, I would stop. S-T-O-P. Okay, I'm going to stay tuned on people. And then when I met people, I would hang their name on the stop sign, just in a corner. Here's the guy's name. And I never forgot anybody's name after I started employing that as a mechanism. But the important thing there, again, is to think about these people and these emotions and how these emotions can change. And having a big smile on your face is something that works absolute miracles. And if you don't believe me, try it. Go into a customer and call on them and don't have a smile on your face. Just keep a really staid look and go in there and say, oh, hello there, Scott. Nice to meet you. Okay? And you can sense the thing back from the guy. Or you can, when you say, hey, Roger, how you doing? Nice to meet you, and you got a nice big smile on your face. A big smile on your face can make all the difference in the world in that initial meeting. And every time you go and see a customer, it's always a good idea to have a big smile on your face. And it can change the chemistry of the call. It's amazing. And I'm sure that many of you could give me your own experiences in that regard. Now, what I used to do when I was in the lobby and I was calling on customers, I would actually start to loosen up my lips like this. I'm serious. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. But I'm telling you, the effect it had was so tremendous that I would do it. I would loosen up my lips, and then I would think of some goofy things, like I'm not going to get into the goofy things that I used to think about, but I mean, all of us have got some goofy things we can think about. But whatever goofy things you could think about, when that customer comes through that door, you got that big smile on your face, and it just makes them feel good, because most of us feel good when we're smiling. We like to see other people doing it as well.